So not keep anybody any longer. I'm going to hand over to Steve, who's the owner and founder of Figment Agency. I know you're going to really enjoy the next half an hour, and then there'll be, I'm sure, great loads of questions to ask him at the end. Over to you, Steve.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jane. Thanks for everyone joining. I know there's a few late joiners. So Jane, if you could just keep an eye on anyone who's in the waiting room, there's still people joining us right now. Good old technology, eh? That's what it does for you, not spinning out a password on this occasion. But thanks for joining us. For those who don't know me, I'm Steve, Managing Director of Figment Agency. And as Jane says, I'm going to help you navigate around AI and specifically look at the home and lifestyle sector and what we can do to navigate around what's been happening over the last 12 months or so. And more importantly, looking into the future, what AI is going to do for our business. So today is a simple guide for the sector around AI and how you can use it to get better Google rankings and grow your business. Before we get started, just a little bit about me. I've been optimizing websites since the days of Ask Jeeves and Yahoo back in 1999. My first website was for a bathroom company called York and Young. That was in Liverpool near Penny Lane. You remember those days when you had to explain to someone what a website was and why you needed one. I graduated from Brunel University in 2005. I was working as a bathroom showroom manager and then went on to work for Apple. I was one of the first 100 employees in the UK in the Regent Street office. I met a lot of small business owners and they basically had a lot of problems navigating around the internet and specifically using Google and working their way around social media platforms. So I set up Figment in 2006 with a strong vision for healthy and sustainable growth and to make SEO simple. I live at home with my wife and business partner, Emma, and our 3-year-old son and Lego fanatic, Joshua, known as JJ. So Figment is basically the agency of choice for growing ambitious home and lifestyle businesses. We're really proud of the reputation that we've built since 2006. And we recently won the UK Search Awards and have over 73 5-star reviews on our profile. Typically, we're working with ambitious company owners and marketing managers. They really want to grow, but they basically hit a growth barrier because they rely quite heavily on word of mouth and referrals for new business, which means that they go through cycles where they're really busy and then other cycles where they're quite quiet. Clients are in artificial grass, garden buildings, interior design, home office, air conditioning, hot tubs, rugs, you name it. So we really understand the space and we can apply our expertise in that to drive really strong results for our clients. So let's have a look and set the scene with what's going on in the industry right now and what challenges business owners and marketing managers are facing with home and lifestyle. So as we know, there was a bit of a huge boom in COVID and consumers were basically not able to go anywhere. So they spent more money on improving their home and lifestyle. As we come out of that sort of age, we've seen a huge drop off in the demand with the market basically normalizing, going back to pre-pandemic days. And even so, that we've even seen consumers have a little bit less money to spend because mortgage rates have gone up. Inflation obviously is gone through the roof. And the cost of living crisis is kind of a message that you see on the news all of the time. So the number one problem clients are facing with is basically this sort of lead generation year round. Most businesses in the sector are quite seasonal. And they do really well at certain times of the year where they just don't have enough hours in the day. At other parts of the year, you're just twiddling your thumbs. And so this kind of cycle between busy and low is what we call bust and boom. And it can be weather dependent, but it can also be seasonal, and it can also be related to holidays and other factors. So if you are noticing different patterns, you are not alone. So basically what this can lead to is burnout and cash flow issues. And all of that just isn't healthy or sustainable. We are seeing squeezed margins, and that's because you've got a rising inflation, but you've also got increased manufacturing costs. Supplier costs are going up, materials going up. Some of that's because of the war on Ukraine. And at the same time, you're seeing costs of marketing and advertising increase as well. So, for example, furniture, we've seen the cost per advertising online go up by as much as 54%. And that's a huge rise. And basically that means that you just need to be really smart. You definitely can't afford to waste money doing marketing or advertising that isn't going to work. And the business at the same time deserves to be seen by your customers. But what people do is they don't understand how to get to the top of Google and how to connect their business with those people who are actively searching for what you do. So this presentation is going to cover the basics of SEO and also how you can use AI to accelerate and work with your business to grow. So my first experience of AI, I don't know whether any of you played this game. This is Chessmaster 2000, I think. This is the mid-90s. And basically AI. So you're playing against a computer, and the idea is a computer has got to the point where you can't beat it unless you sat it on novice mode. I could never beat the grandmaster. So as an avid chess player going to chess clubs all around Liverpool, this is the game I used to practice on. And I think for most of us, AI, the real experience of that was as a child or in the 90s playing video games, because that's a great example of AI. Whether you're playing FIFA or whatever it is, you're basically playing against a computer that has learned through patterns of behavior to get better and better, and sometimes impossible to beat. So basically, we've all played those games, but it's all about what AI really means now and what are the risks? What does it mean for business? What does it mean for the sector? And where are we going with all of this? So as I said, before we get into AI itself, let's just go back to basics and look at the simple SEO explanation. Basically, it's a practice. We're optimizing websites to improve the visibility in Google, and those search results pages are what we call a SERP, search engine results page. The goal really is to get unpaid or free traffic from improving the keyword visibility. So we're trying to get keywords and phrases that people are searching for ranked at the top. And basically, the pattern is very simple. People go on a search engine like Google, they basically visit your website through the organic traffic. And generally speaking, although there's about 500 variations of what this SERP page looks like, this search engine results page, you generally have paid ads at the top, and you have those unpaid or organic listings below. The thing is that this page is likely to change very dramatically as AI becomes more embedded in what Google does. So in terms of the business case for AI, for SEO, we know that people don't necessarily click on ads. There is a huge proportion of consumers that do, but the vast majority of people don't. So that means 4 out of 5 people are going to skip past those ads because they know that they're ads, despite Google's efforts to blend them in. People are educated to know what is an ad and what is a free listing. You're getting more traffic through Google's organic listing than any other source combined. So we're talking about outranking social media, direct traffic, email, and paid ads all together combined, still less than that organic traffic that comes through the internet. So if you're in the #1 spot, you're going to be absolutely booming, because the vast majority of the people go to the top 3 spots and a third go to the very top position in Google. So the ultimate goal is to keep yourself at the top of Google for all of the keywords and phrases that matter. And by doing that, you can experience year-round lead generation from Google and great brand awareness that can help with consumers who are considering your services. Are we talking about just Google then? Pretty much. It's a 92% worldwide share. So Google hasn't changed its overall mission. It's interested in information and making it helpful and useful. That's why people trust Google, because generally, at least up until nowadays, Google gives the best results. That's all, of course, up for debate and the way that AI is going to get embedded in search. But right now, at least in the UK, Google is 92% share of search. So the best thing you can do really is think about appealing to Google's best interests. So if you align to the mission, you need to make your website informative, useful, accessible. Google just doesn't care who makes the money, but you need to share your knowledge and expertise with the world so you can position your business as the expert that you are. If we break it down, there's a lot of people that will blind you into telling you SEO is some sort of dark art or rocket science, but actually really it hasn't changed that much since I started optimizing with Yahoo back in the late 90s. So really it's just about things you do on the website that build your relevancy. So those could be pages on your site like landing pages or sales pages, as well as information, articles, ebooks, videos. All of that is basically on page SEO. It's all within your grasp and can be controlled. Off page, you're really looking at things that we're doing away from the website that build your trustworthiness and your authority. And that's all about things that are a little bit more beyond your control, but through creating good content, you can encourage people to link to you. The two go in hand. So websites that have good relevancy tend to have better authority, but there are also lots of websites out there that have very good on-page optimization, but they aren't very well trusted. And that's why typically those websites don't appear at the top of the search engines. So that's a nutshell. We're now going to talk about an invisible layer in SEO that many people don't know about, but is actually quite key to ranking. And it's what we call EAT. And it's been added, well, we've added an extra E, so it's EEAT: experience, expertise, authority, and trust. These are pillars that make up whether Google should trust your website above anyone else. And in 2018, the websites that were most affected were medical websites who made claims, but they didn't substantiate those. The great thing about this is you can add a lot more EAT to your website. If you're already working with Figment, don't worry, it's all in hand. But from a point of view of practicality, experience is about educating client that you have first-hand experience. So that could be providing a case study or actually talking about a site visit or showing a video of what you've done. That's all showing evidence of your experience, and also expertise, which is about backing that up with credentials, qualifications. So both of those, you can use your blog or your insights and news section to basically demonstrate that. Authority is about the reputation that you have. Some of that is built around your reviews, as well as online references to your website, could be mentions on social media and other PR and news cuttings. That builds your credentials and your authority. And in turn, that's going to build your trust. But trust isn't just about what's going on away from your website. It's about whether your content is accurate. Is it frequently updated? Is it credible sources? Have you got your contact information all there? Are you able to be, can we meet you face to face? All of those things build your trust. And that basically puts together a really strong case for Google's ability to rank your website. So that's the basics. Now, something really important. 9 times out of 10, when I'm speaking to a business owner, the real problem is that they don't have an SEO strategy. And even before that, they don't even know what their buying cycle is. Most people have it stuck in their head. So it's quite crucial to understand that before you even do SEO. So a key to actually having a winning strategy and appearing for your customers is to understand the way in which that they might find your business and get it inside their head. It's a bit like looking at it through the lens of the customer, if you think about it. So awareness, this is one of the strongest areas where, as an SEO, we're building a case for people to come into your funnel. We're talking about here the top of the funnel, and you're providing information that basically answers what people are looking for when they're doing a very basic research. So in this example, I've given as a, how much does it cost to do a loft conversion to add, or how much does that add to the value of your property? Obviously, people considering that because that they may not be able to afford to move. And so we're looking at that really early stage in the buying cycle. The next stage, what we call consideration, people have a little bit more intent around that, so that they know what they want and they're starting to look for it. And this is where SEO really accelerates, because people are very minded to make to basically shortlist potential suppliers and services, and they may be interested in a quote. So they're making a shortlist, and at that point, they would be looking along the lines of a company providing a certain service. So, for example, loft conversions in Surrey. At the interest stage, people are on your website and perhaps absorbing other materials that you provide with them. And they're basically deciding whether they should go with your business or someone else. And it's amazing how many businesses in the sector have really good reviews and have a lot of good range of products and services that they offer, but actually don't fully articulate why you should choose them and not another business. Being able to do that can be the difference when it comes to convincing and converting. That brings me on to the next stage in the funnel, which is conversion. You need a clear path to take visitors across your website and into your sales pipeline, and then from that pipeline into your back pocket. And so that's all about conversion. So if you think about it, awareness and consideration are very focused around SEO. Interest and conversion are around about your website and what we call conversion rate optimization, or you may have heard of the phrase CRO. And of course, decision, a customer places an order, and beyond that, you have what we call loyalty, which is a phase beyond the customer where they may become a loyal fan and they may refer. But for the purpose of this, what's really important is brainstorming. And if you're not doing it already, trying to work out what people are thinking at these different stages. And this is a workshop that we take clients through to help them understand how people buy from them. So now let's talk turkey. AI and SEO. What is the fuss? It's no longer a figment of your imagination. I couldn't resist the pun there. We're not talking Terminator, Skynet, or Hollywood AI anymore. We're talking about combining futuristic robots. No, we're talking about using AI in our business day to day. Most people will be reassured there's no time travel or anything like that, and we don't need to fight off robots. So what is going on out there? These are some pictures that I've taken on my travels of robots in Japan and Munich. You know, where on the left-hand side, this robot can basically play music. In the middle, this is a hotel check-in concierge. On the right-hand side, this is Honda's Asimo. It's been out years, at least 5 years. It can basically score a goal. It can play football. It's been self-trained. So how does all this work? Basically, AI mimics a human method of learning. It's what we call machine learning. And it does that through experience and repetition. There's vast amount of data that's basically it's processing. So it's identifying patterns, making predictions, and that helps it improve decision making. And that's how machine learning works. It gets better and better. And the scary thing, AI is getting smarter and smarter over time. So many of you will have heard of ChatGPT. On the 30th of November 2022, Figment won the UK Search Awards, but by complete coincidence, the same day, Chat Generative Pre-trained Transformer, or ChatGPT, was launched. And it's a chatbot language using what we call a large language model called OpenAI. And basically, the long and short of it is that anyone can use this chatbot and create like a human-like dialogue. So whereas you would just be playing a computer game before, this is actually using it in a practical sense because you're getting feedback from your machine learning, your AI. So at this point, we could get responses to questions, written content, articles, social posts, essays, code and emails, and all of a sudden the teacher's saying to your children, you can't use this, so it's banned. Some countries, I think Italy, were saying, look, we can't let this happen, this is a catastrophe. There's a good book by a guy called Mo Gaddak, who basically worked for Google, and he's a former chief business officer for Google X. Really great book. It's a balanced view. He's talking about the potential dangers of AI, as well as the fact that it's going to be an amazing tool. The book's called Scary Smart, and if you haven't read it, check it out. Basically, Mo says that AI is a bit like a genie being let out of a bottle. And the concept really is that that AI could outsmart human intelligence. It's all a bit scary, which is why his book's called Scary Smart. And basically, the phenomenon is known as the singularity. And it's a point at which AI has the ability to improve and reproduce itself autonomously. What that really means is that we could get to a stage in the future where human intervention could just be deemed obsolete. We just won't be needed. Flip side of that, is to not panic. Remember those days in the 90s when everyone said that computers are going to replace us at work, and look where we all are today on a sunny day. So AI for efficiency, who's using it? What's going on? Nearly half of businesses are using AI at the moment. If you're not using AI, then it would be helpful to start thinking about how you might want to consider using AI in your business. You don't want to be left behind. Most marketers are using AI. We certainly have been. In fact, we've been using AI of sorts for several years. But right now, we're seeing a lot of marketers using AI for their content writing and for research. So this was a survey, nearly 4,000 digital marketers. So it's quite a substantial amount of data that they're using to give us a really good idea that most people are using AI of some description in marketing right now. So what can you do for AI in terms of like using it for your SEO strategy? And should you even bother? Well, you can use it to get that strategy piece right. We all talked about the importance of having that strong customer journey. If you don't know what people are looking for at those stages, you could be using a tool like ChatGPT to help research what people are thinking about during the consideration. So it could be like, what do people need to consider when they are renovating or when they are doing a installation of a extension or a loft conversion or whatever it is. You could be using this to accelerate and get inside the head of the customer and get some ideas. The beauty about doing a research through ChatGPT and other AI tools really is that it's going to be really quick and require a lot less brain power. The problem is that the information is typically only up to date. Most of it's up to date till about 2021. So it's only really as accurate as it can be, and it may not reflect your business need. So if you're going to use it as a research assistant, make sure you do check it over. And I mentioned how you can use ChatGPT. There are a range of plugins out there that basically what they do is they extend the functionality of ChatGPT to make it easy for you to find out additional information and make it more practical. So here's some examples. We'll be sharing around the recording anyway in the slides so that you can get an idea and have a look at these yourself. But don't worry if your SEO is managed by Figment, we're already on top of all of this. But it's a good way of finding out. One of the ones I picked out there is one called Now, where you can get Google Trends. And that's a way Google Trends allows you to look at the cycles. And we can see that there's actually a drop off in demand in our industry right now. So that home and lifestyle, people are spending a little bit less. There's less search volume out there. But you can look at Google Trends to find out more about that and substantiate that. And then there's loads of others. You can use them to find out keywords, to extract and pull data, to get reports. And all these plugins are available, and they will just sit in nicely with ChatGPT to make it more functional and helpful. Right. Writing. Well, we've already said that 85% of marketers are using ChatGPT to, for content writing. So why should you do that? Well, first of all, the use case, you can produce well-written content. And it's pretty much straightforward to do it. It's fast, it's super efficient. You don't need to do all of that thinking, and it will do most of the spelling and grammar check. Don't forget, you need to add prompts to ChatGPT. If you ask it to do something without prompts, you're not going to be happy with the result. So what you do is you basically get ChatGPT to act as if it's in a role. For example, you are a marketing manager in a bifolding doors supplier offering a service across the northwest of England, and you are writing a 1,200 word blog with 7 reasons why you should be introducing a bifolding door to create more outdoor living space and bring in more light into your home. Then ChatGPT, within seconds, let's face it, spins out an article, and you've never seen anything like it. You almost fall out of your chair. Oh my God. If I'd given this to my copywriter, they'll be coming back weeks later with an article that I'll have to check over. What is the difference? Well, the main limitation is that ChatGPT is not a human. It has not been out there, so it lacks the human experience and the world experience. So you're going to get lots of good information, but you're going to miss that touch, that real intricate nuance that you experience as somebody who's faced with customers and your market inside out. You also lack creativity. These bots, they're trained on data. They're not trained to think creatively. And so you miss one of the key aspects that makes us human. And you find that if you put rubbish in, you put rubbish out. Repetitive is what we're seeing with a lot of this content. You're going to end up with similar content to your competitors. So if you really want to position as a thought leader on your topic, then you should consider really using this as a research tool and getting an outline for the sort of content that you could be creating, but then putting your own creative real world spin on it and checking it over for accuracy. And that's what we do here. So can you produce images for your website to supplement your written content that you've maybe used ChatGPT to help accelerate with? Absolutely. You can generate custom images. We all know how time consuming it can be to take pictures, to edit pictures, or to even go on stock library photos and find out what you want. Well, using tools like Midjourney and DALL-E, you can produce really fast images, and they can be custom to your business. And the problem is that they don't always look realistic, and particularly struggle with things like hands. So can I see some examples? Here's one we've got with IKEA. The prompts around creating a messy looking bedroom and kitchen for the front page of a IKEA magazine. And this is all ChatGPT, and it just shows you how quickly it can do it. Not only that, is it's putting it in the brand colors of IKEA. So you've got all the blue and yellow and the mug and everything. That's all done automatically, and it's absolutely fascinating. But look at the image on the right with the hands. It looks like something from an alien movie. It's just not quite right for me. So you just got to be careful with this. I'm sure it's going to improve, but there's definite scope to be using it. And it's not just about images. I think only 12% are using it for these sorts of things at the moment, but you can use it for videos. So for some clients at the moment, we're working on using ChatGPT, other AI tools to create videos for our clients and basically take their blogs and make them more interesting. So there's a couple of use cases there. You've got strategy, you've got content, you've got images and other types of content. I mean, that's all very practical, but does it actually check out? Does Google care, and will it rank you down? Well, here's the news. Google says appropriate use of AI or automation is not against its guidelines. It basically says that we've been using it for a long time, automation, to create content, and it can assist with it and create new content in exciting new ways. But Google is a little bit behind the curve, as we know. So Google hasn't said come out and you definitely should be using it. It's saying you could use AI as an essential way to help you produce content that's helpful and original. Remember, going back to the mission of Google, it wants helpful information from Google for the user. And it might be worth considering AI, but Google hasn't said you should use AI, you should use it always, and it should replace your content on the website. It's basically saying it's going to be helpful, and if it can help you create original content, then brilliant. And there's the guideline. So if you want to check it out straight from the source. And there's a famous sort of guy, a bit of an interim between Google and the outside world, called John Muller. Nothing to do with yogurts, but basically he says that, would you trust it if it was a law case? Would you use it to make an argument before a judge? And he's absolutely spot on. If you wouldn't use it for that, then you've got to be careful in terms of what you create, and the quality has to come over the quantity. So it's great, but is it a solution looking for a problem? We don't know. Okay, so next, can we use AI to maximize SEO? So yeah, the answer is absolutely. We're using it as a research assistant to help improve the way that we basically function as a business, and also to help fast track research for content. As we know from the relevancy in the part of the sort of nutshell of SEO, we know that we need to create written content, and SEO really helps to create an outline and helps us build a fast case for what we could be writing about. You can basically use AI in the ways that we suggested. And if you want to, and you've already got content on your website, you can be using that to scan and recreate existing content of social posts, or even unique images, or even videos. And so existing content can now use AI tools to basically reproduce and create new content without much cost. And we're using AI to, in a nutshell, drive value for clients and bring in better, stronger results. So a question on everyone's lips probably is, did we make this webinar using AI? In fact, not. It helped us generate some ideas, but we came up with the outline and then we sort of worked together using ChatGPT as a bit of an assistant for certain facts. And of course, all the imagery and branding is our own. But it's a good example of how you could be using ChatGPT and AI to create content and use it as a bit of a research assistant. But we're finding that it's not a complete replacement for content. So what's the final verdict? Well, summarize what we spoke about. Basically, businesses in the sector are facing those constant challenges with creating warm leads throughout the year and having a solid inbound strategy. So that's SEO really, as well as your outbound and your partnerships and referrals, can bring in that steady flow of leads through for your customers right through the year. You're going to need a really good strategy. You need to know your marketing before you know your SEO. And of course, once you have your SEO, you need to make sure you put it into place. And using ChatGPT and other AI tools, you can help fast track the content that you create on your website to help make your website relevant. But don't forget, you need to make it original, unique, and position your business in the way that you would expect to receive it as if you were a client. So if we put rubbish in, we're going to get rubbish out. It should reflect your tone of voice and your brand message. So don't forget to include the prompts and the guidance. Don't just expect AI to do it all for you. And if you're not sure about that, just sit tight. AI, it's only been around from a practical sense for us for about 9 months. So it's quite new and there's a lot more to come in this area. And if you're watching this webinar in the future, then it's all going to look silly. Everything I've told you today may look like an absolute joke. But for now, I think, is it a problem looking for a solution? And the question really to ask yourself is, what are you doing in AI and how is it going to affect your business in the long term? So what should you be thinking about for 3 and 5 years time? How might it change? And how can you be using it to create a competitive advantage? So that brings us on to any questions and the end of my talk.
Thank you so much for that, Steve. I can see in the chat we have a question already, but people please feel free to ask Steve questions. But I can see this one, which is, were the slides made with the help of AI?
Absolutely not. The slides were made by us with our love and TLC. Anyone who knows Figment knows that we have a bit of a vision for getting things right and doing things to the pixel. So no, we made them all ourselves. As tempted as I was, I actually did Google AI slide making tool, but I didn't want to spend time learning the AI when we can trust our trusty Apple Keynote and our brand visual guidelines.
Any other questions, anybody? If you want to take some time to unmute and ask Steve some questions.
And if anyone thinks of questions after this, we will be sharing a link where they can book a call and we can go through that and how using AI in your business, what sort of strategies you can be looking to put in. And it might be worth looking at, your own risk assessment of how AI could be taking over from jobs that are in your business. Remember that for some industries, AI is actually going to take away jobs. So is your job safe? Probably, but is your team's job? Maybe not. So AI will start to be taking over that. All very, very interesting. So yeah, thank you.
Just seen another question pop up, Steve. What tools do you use other than ChatGPT and Midjourney?
Well, we use ChatGPT as a main tool. There is a video tool that we also use for making AI-based videos. I think Emma might be able to provide me the name of that tool. But we're using those plugins that I mentioned earlier. Capwing is the AI video translating tool that we're using for a client right now to take content and make it into to video. Worth noting that obviously we're leading in the way with this. Figment has an innovation strategy meeting, and we have quarterly outcomes and a full roadmap for AI. So it's not something that we're plastering on, it's part of our business. That doesn't mean that you need to be thinking about it to these levels, but we're working with technology and clients all the time that need to be leveraging these tools. Think about how you can use it from a practical sense in your business. Don't just create a solution for a problem. That's what I'm saying is, yes, the genie has been let out. For me, the scariest thing is when AI gets to the point of it sort of this self-computing, and it either creates loads and loads of false information, or it gets to the point where it takes over and we no longer have a say. That's the scariest thing, isn't it, about the future? I'll share the slides. There are a few people who couldn't get in as well, so that we'll share the recording. But those plugins that you can use with ChatGPT are probably the best way, because then you're using something that you're familiar with using, like ChatGPT. But then you can use other tools like Keyword Explorer and SendBot to get more information and make it work a little bit harder. So yeah, that's really good. As I said, we'll share the link. If anyone's got questions, let us know. We'll
I think another question quickly coming, Steve, before we wind up.
I think it looks like from the competitive standpoint of view, it does look like AI is going to be something that is embedded into search, and that Google is going to basically come back at Bing, who kind of basically, if you buy a new Windows computer, you're going to get Edge as a browser, you're going to get Bing as a client, and you're going to get all of this built in. Google's a bit behind that, but it's still at a dominating point of view. We have noticed some drop off in the quality of ChatGPT. We expect that that will improve again. It's basically a bit of a dogfight at the moment. What we do here is that there's going to be a subscription model. So it's not necessarily going to be seen as a freebie. So just be prepared that already there's a ChatGPT enterprise model. There was a sort of already a paid subscription that we're on, which is about $20 a month, which just gives you faster access. But expect that both Bing, Copilot, Bard, everything is going to be on a chargeable subscription. Nothing is going to be free. We're getting indications that it could be around the $30 mark per month. So, this is how it's going to be going. There will be people who really want to monetize that and not just think of it as going to be nothing's free in life, I'm afraid. Yeah, but of course there will be freemium versions of a lot of these tools as we've seen with the basic ChatGPT, but unfortunately there's a cost to everything, and that's how we can expect it. And I think that the biggest change is going to be to the search engine results page and the way that results are displayed, and using those sort of machine learning based answers, not just search queries, and that's going to massively impact the SEO industry. Righty-ho. Well, we've run a little bit longer just because there's a few people trying to get in. Anyone that missed it, we'll send on recording, of course. You all know where I am for further questions. It was great to see you all. I'm sure that it's helped to remove some of the underlying mystery around how AI works and where we are on the state of play. I look forward to speaking to you all again soon.
Thanks again, Steve. Thanks everybody for joining.